Hi everybody. So the reason why I'm making these videos is pretty clear. It's all to wake everybody up. We're all living in a state of being controlled and being told what to think and what is real and what isn't real. Everything that the government say is real actually isn't. A lot of the stuff that we see in the movies, we're like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Look at all this crazy technology. Well, they've had stuff like that like 30 years ago. So, my main reason for making these videos is just to help people and kind of open people's eyes into what I've learned and the stuff that I found out through my own trials and errors and stuff I've learned from my girlfriend and her father. So, I don't even know where to begin because there's so many things that you could talk about. There's so many messed up topics that you can go on and on about, but the first thing is how to control your own brain. Being able to control your own brain is extremely, extremely crucial because if you can't control your own brain, well, guess what? Somebody else is. And you're wondering who the other person might be. Oh, it's the big brother, the government. They have many different ways of controlling us, many different ways of brainwashing us. Simply just the commercials that they decide to put onto TV and the ads that we watch everywhere and the ads that we drive by on the streets, they're all little ways of them controlling our brain. Making you think a certain way and think, oh wow, I want this, oh I want that. That's what everybody lives for nowadays. You're driving out, let's say you're in a Honda Civic. You're outside driving and you look at the next guy and he's driving a Mercedes. So like, oh wow, well, I want that. What does it make you do? It makes you go out, work your ass off even harder to try and get that while you put yourself into debt more and more and more just to chase that one goal of being able to drive that nice car. And then after you drive that nice car, you get out and you go to, let's say, a shopping mall. And you look at the next guy, you're like, oh, he's got some nice shoes. I would love to have those shoes. Or look at that jacket that he's wearing, or whatever. That's just ways that the government has controlled our brain and make us want stupid things that we actually do not need. See, like going back on what people used to live on back in the day is what pretty much everybody has to do. Everybody's like, oh my God, the world's getting messed up. What are we gonna do? Well, we are. It's our own fault. We did it to ourselves. We're doing it every single day. Every day you get into your car, well, you're part of the problem. I have to say, I'm like that too. I'm forced to drive in a car because I live in a very big city where the train system and the bus system will take me twice as long as driving a car. Now, I really do wish I could just work closer to my house where I could take a bike to work or walk to work. But living in Toronto, that's not always possible. So, oh, so many topics. Anyways, if you ever have any kind of comments or questions, just leave them at the bottom and I'll definitely get back to you. Now, the biggest thing that everybody doesn't realize is every single plant and every single tree that we take out of this earth is hurting the earth. Now, there's people that cut down trees every single day for paper when we could just use hemp. It's You can use hemp for everything instead of cutting down trees. Now, like for example, those trees that are like over 100 years old, those trees take out certain kinds of pollution in the air that little trees can't take out. Doesn't matter. You can have like 200 of those little trees, they still will not take out the kind of pollution in the air that those 100-year-old plus trees do. There's even trees that are over thousands of years old. Now, people go around those forests, they find these big trees and do the stupid thing and cut the tree down and take a big smiley picture beside the cut down log and stuff like that just really, really hurts me because they don't stop and think like, okay, this tree that's so big and so wide, it's been here for what? What reason? Why did God put this tree on this part of the earth? Now, what is this tree doing? You look at it, it's gigantic. The branch is the size of this like apartment building, and people decide to go and cut it down. What does that tree do? A, it's so big, goes really high up in the air, it takes up different pollution, different carcinogens in the air, and the CO2 that little trees can't do. Even 100-year-old tree can't do what that 1,000-year-old tree does. Again, it goes the same thing. You can have 100-year-old trees. All those 100 of them will not do what that 1,000-year-old tree does. Just because the roots get, like the tree gets bigger and There's just a lot to it. It's just a bigger tree. It's been around for 10 times the amount that tree was. So when that happens, the roots go so deep into the ground, like it's all everything is intertwined with each other. Uh, so what to go on next? Well, the biggest issue in the world that everybody has to address, like it's not the trees. You know, the trees are bad. We are doing a lot with the trees, but the worst thing that we're doing is the oil. Oil every single day from every parts of the earth, from the north, the south, the east, the west, the midwest, you name it. It's being pumped out 24 hours a day, non-stop. Just pump, pump, pump. People don't stop and think like, what's that gonna do to the earth? Like really, people. What do you think what do you think's gonna happen? There's like hundreds of millions of empty pockets that used to have oil in it. Now, it, a lot of people don't know what the oil does for the earth. It's Think of it like this. It's like taking use the earth like your own body and your own skin. All right. So imagine you're taking oil, so you're taking moisture out of your skin every day, from every different parts of you, from your head, your chest, your back, your legs, anywhere. You're taking oil out every day. Pump, 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 take it out. What do you think it's going to do to your body? Did you ever stop and think of that? You got to use it as an analogy, because some people, they're just too dumb to even think about the subject. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. Um, so if you're taking oil out every single day, and then you end up taking more stuff out, like you're taking diamonds, you're taking gold, taking silver, all the other rocks and minerals that we're taking out of the earth every single day. Think of that like taking calcium out of your body, taking iron out of your body, taking potassium out of your body, taking all those different elements of vitamins and minerals that we need in our body for everything to work together. So if we do that on a daily basis, what is that doing to ourselves? It's killing us. That's what we're doing to the earth. And nobody really gives a shit. Everybody is out buying the biggest engines, biggest cars. Everybody has 2 or 3 cars for no fucking reason at all. I'm sorry to swear, but it's just really dumb topic that like everybody seems to go out on. Like people go out and buy a car. Oh, next year I'm sick of this car because there's already a new model of my car. I'm gonna go switch it in for the bigger, better motor. It's just stupid. Like really, it really is dumb because we've all been brainwashed so much by the governments and by everything that we just go on doing everything where we don't even we think we're thinking these thoughts and we're leading our life a certain way, but we're not because we're so fucking brainwashed that we've been taught to do certain things and live certain ways and have certain things in life be important to us, which are not important. We go about thinking about and caring about things and stressing about things that we shouldn't even give a damn about. I'm sorry, but it's true. A lot of stuff that people stress about, like your debts and this and that, well, you did it to yourself because you've been a slave to everything. Because you've been a slave to living like the government wants you to live, which is switch up your cell phone every single month, every single year, sorry. Get a new car every single year. Go out and they make you buy new things at every single season where you don't even think about it, but you're being controlled by them. That's what I mean. The biggest and the only way we can actually start changing the world is by controlling our own brains. And that's the biggest way to stop everything. If you can control your own brain, you'll be one of those few people who's going to stand out and actually be like, whoa, let me take a step back. Like, why do I need this? I don't need that. Why do I have to go out and do this when I shouldn't do that? I should be out trying to help the earth, trying to help the environment, because every other fucking person here is polluting it and doing the complete opposite. So, like, it's funny how human beings can be sometimes, where, like, we see the issue and the problem happening, but we choose to not address it. It's like, oh yeah, it's bad. Oh my God, we gotta do something about it. But then we don't do shit about it until pretty much shit hits the fan, until everything is messed up. When everything is messed up, that's when everybody starts freaking out. When everybody freaks out, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? Everything is going to shit. Oh no, what have we done? Why didn't we do something earlier when we all knew was happening? Because we're just stupid. And we let the government do what they want. This is what people don't understand. It's like the government is only a few amount of people, where if everybody else on the earth stands up and sticks together and says, hey, no, stop, you can't be doing these things, maybe slowly things can change around. I doubt it, but there's always a chance for hope, and it's always good to hope for something better to happen than what's happening right now, which is we're all gonna die eventually. It's sad because me myself, I have a 2-year-old daughter, 2.5 years old, and it's just really sad because she won't experience the things that I did when I was younger. Like, I remember growing up and seeing the seasons. Just for example, something as simple as how the seasons change. You don't like witness that anymore. Everything is so messed up. Like, you be in the middle of winter and then the next, like one day it's -15 and tomorrow it's 4 degrees. Like what? What's going on? Or like in the middle of October, instead of it being like 12 degrees, you're looking at 32 degrees, and everybody's out wearing shorts and stuff like that. People are like, "Oh my God, it's so nice." No, it's not. Like I wish all these young kids in this next generation can witness like nature and stuff that we did, where even the sunrises were different. The color changes from spring to autumn were completely different. If you don't notice it, go out, watch. Next year in autumn, just go out when when it's going to fall. Just look at everything. When I was younger, I remember how the trees were lush yellows and oranges and reds and really dark, deep colors. Where you look at everything now, everything's kind of lighter and has like a light yellow tint to it or a brownish tint to it because everything is dying, everything is unhealthy because the air is so polluted that even the trees are feeling it really, really bad. And there's not enough big trees left to help out the earth. So what's happening is all these little trees are dying because there's just too much pollution and blah blah blah. You can put the two together. So it's crazy because I a lot of stuff that we took for granted when we were younger that you know they're like, oh my God, look at the beautiful sunshine and stuff like that, or look at how nice the sky is. Look at the nice clouds up there. They're so big and puffy and like they look like they're changing shape in the air. You look at the sky now, all you see is chemtrails and pollution in the air. But it's like, oh my God, look at that beautiful sunset. It's all pink and orange. You're like, no, that's not supposed to be there. That's not how a sunset's supposed to look. That's all the pollution in the air and all the crap that we're breathing and all the crap that we're actually putting up there ourselves. So it's it's kind of crazy. It really is. I know I keep on saying that, but it actually is. When you think about it, if you actually sit there and take 10 minutes, okay, even 5 minutes for just people who are too busy to fucking sit down and think of all this, take 5 minutes out of your busy ass day, alright? It's like do it while you're taking a shit, even better. In the bathroom. You got nothing better to do. Put your cell phone down. That's what everybody does. You go on the toilet, and the first thing you don't even feel complete to go into the bathroom until you have your cell phone in your hand. That's another way we're being controlled. Like just so many ways. So if you actually sit there and take 5 minutes, think of everything that's happening, everything in the world, and like kind of put like step back for a second. If you're, I'm not gonna use the word smart because you don't have to be smart to understand this stuff. All you have to do is be realistic. All you have to do is actually look at everything for once. Not just scan over it. Look at everything. Look at all these countries and what's happening in them. Look at all the governments and what they're doing to them. Look at all these countries that are fighting each other when they're side by side and they should be holding with hands each other and trying to make everything better and try to make a better world for us. But that's not what's happening because there is a whole like world order going on. There's many videos you can watch on YouTube. There's many really really good videos that you can watch that have really good valid points and real information that when you look at it most people think that oh that's not true. Like that's crazy. That's not true because that's what the government wants you to think. They don't want you to believe what's real. They want you to believe what they want you to believe because they want you to be that dumbass that they're going to control and make you do whatever they want you to do without you even knowing it. Um, like for me, I've only learned this stuff like it's been I'd say like 6 months or so, 6 to 7 months that my eye got open. Let's just say like open, my eyes open to everything in the world and what was going on around me and what was etc. etc. So there's a lot of my friends that I try and talk to and just like educate. man, this is what's happening. This is, what's going on. This is what we got to do. Like, this will happen in the future and whatnot. And everybody's like, man, come on, Hal, you're crazy. That's not true. Like, where are you getting all this information from? It's like, why does everybody say that? Who cares about where I'm getting information from? Did anybody ask Einstein where did he get this information from? No. He just simply wrote E equals MC squared and put all of his things down to prove how he got to that point, and that was it. Nobody questioned him. There's so many other people that have come up with things. It's like, why do you got to question? Why is that the only fact or the only thing that's gonna make you believe what I'm telling you is because of where it came from? Again, another way of being controlled by the government. Like, we have this most amazing thing in this whole universe, and that's our brain. Our brain can do anything. It can make you from being happy to completely sad and paranoid or scared for your life in in a second, in a drop of a dime. Like, you can go from happy to scared and fearing for your life and fighting for your life, whatever it may be. If you honestly cannot control your own brain, then the biggest problem starts there. Even me myself, like I haven't completely learned how to fully control my brain. It's because it takes practice. It's a every single day thing. It's from the second you wake up. It's the thought process in your head. Every thought that you think about. If you're out there thinking negative, I'm sure everybody's heard that kind of stuff before. Like, your thoughts are connected to the universe, and what you think comes into your life. And yes, it's extremely true. It's very, very true. And when you start practicing it on a daily basis, you start noticing it, and you start the differences happening in your life. Um, One of the biggest things is trying to be happy every day. It's really hard because, like, when you're when your eyes are being opened up to what's happening in the earth and what's going on in the whole world with the government and blah blah blah, your natural instinct is to get scared and be worried. But then you're trying to sit there and be like, no, I gotta be happy every single day. I have to think positive, and you really do, because it does make a big difference. And we all can start changing things one by one, but it's not going to be one or two of us. It has to be everybody in the world. Everybody stepping in. Everybody kind of like putting race and all that other BS aside. Like, who cares? We're all human beings. We all bleed the same blood. We all breathe the same air. We all have the same insides. Like, we're all the same. Yes, we might look different on the outside from the skin and whatever, and facial features and whatnot, but we're all the same kind of creatures. Like, why kill each other? Why not have an amazing world to live on? Why not show our kids and their kids, like, what they can do to make everything better and to actually enjoy what God has put here for us? And you know, we are really dumb to do what we're doing and to let the government do what they do. Like, since the early 90s, that's when everything went bad. That's when all that GMO stuff started, and they started testing all sorts of chemicals and all sorts of pesticides and whatever on everything. Like, everything got genetically modified. Excuse me. Potatoes went from needing like 6 months or so to grow to being done in a month. Corn going from like 6, 7 months to being done in a month, and people don't realize what's that gonna do to everything. Like, we are only now slowly starting to see the effects of it, because it was my generation. Like, when we were kids, that's when we started getting introduced to that stuff. Because, like, in 1994, I was what? It's like 8 years old, and so being 8 years old and having that kind of stuff introduced to my body on a daily basis, that you know it will start affecting you slowly and slowly, and now all the effects will start showing. Like, I remember being young and seeing how big kids were, and looking kids now. Um, like, seeing my younger nieces and nephews and looking at the sizes they were at the ages that they are compared to me and my brothers and cousins that were our age, and it's completely different. Kids are huge now. Everybody's huge now because everything is genetically modified. everything. I recently, like when my eyes got open, to say, I started changing everything I was eating, and it takes a little bit. It takes a good like 3 months or so for the change to start showing in your body. And in that first 3 months, you're gonna notice your body's gonna be messed up. Your insides are gonna be so messed up because all you've been doing is putting in these genetically modified foods, and we don't even think about what's that going to do to our inside, what's that going to do to our kidneys, our liver, and stuff like that. And like me personally, like when I changed over, like for the first month, I there was times I was constipated, there was times I had diarrhea, there like my stomach was all over the place. I had so much gas because everything was changing on the inside of my body, and it was getting rid of all those toxins that I had been putting in years and years of eating genetically modified foods and not really knowing what genetically modified foods are and what they do to you. I do have to excuse, like I might be jumping from topic to topic, but it's just because there's so many things to go on, and you know, I will later make more videos to touch on the things I forgot to touch on, but. So just the genetically modified foods, like when you take something that grows, that needs, like God put it on this earth to need this long to grow for a very specific reason, because everything is on here for a very specific reason, and there's a purpose to every leaf and plant and every organism in this earth. So, like for me, when I was changing all that food that I was eating, you know, 2 months into it, like my stomach started getting a little bit better. Everything was getting a little bit, more regular, and I was starting to slowly feel a little bit better. At the 3 month mark, when I had been eating like non-GMO foods and all organic stuff, no dairy, dairy was by far really, really hard to take out of my diet, and wheat and stuff like that, because I'm Middle Eastern. I grew up having bread with everything. We eat naan with everything, from breakfast to dinner to sometimes even snacks. So we eat bread with everything: pita bread, naan bread, you name it. So cutting that in like yogurts and milk and cheese and all that kind of stuff out of my diet, it made a huge difference. You can still go on eating those sorts of foods, but you just eat different stuff, like coconuts. A coconut is the most amazing fruit in this world. It's the fruit of life for sure. Because there's so many different benefits to it, to your body, your skin, like everything. 1 cup of coconut water equals to like 8 cups of water. So if you're dehydrated, that's the best thing to drink. Don't go out drinking that bottled water that has, you know, a parts per million of over 200. And if you don't know what parts per million is, it's the breakdown of, they say, of the sodium in the water, but it's not just sodium and ion or fluoride or whatever. There's hundreds of things that are in the water system nowadays. So I would strongly recommend drinking coconut water. Try not to get the stuff that's from concentrated. Try to get stuff that's pure. Even better, just go out and buy those new things that you see in the grocery stores. The little white coconuts, they call them baby coconuts. They're like $1.99, like maybe $2.99 per. Those are the best things. You can just cut them open. You have the fresh coconut water. It's just drink it, and you can eat the white inside of it, the meat. It's really good for your body and your skin. Great for your lips if you live in Canada like I do, so you don't get chapped lips. So yeah, when I had taken all that food out of my system, especially the dairy and the wheat, the wheat especially, like I'm not overweight or nothing, but like just eating bread on a daily basis every day, you get that little that little pudge around the belly, around the stomach, where I'm not really fat, but it stops you from having like a six pack or whatever. And when I stopped eating the bread, I really started seeing my stomach just get smaller on its own, because like what wheat does, like it creates these little worms in your stomach that embed themselves into your stomach and like the fat tissues in your body. So what they do is they live off of wheat. So a lot of people who, like, even guys who work out and go to the gym all the time, and they wonder why they can't get rid of that little bit of pudge around their belly button and stuff like that, in that mid area of their body, it's because they eat bread and they eat wheat. So So these worms, that grow into your body, what they do is they sit there and they embed themselves into your body, and they wait for you to eat wheat. When you start eating bread, what do? They eat off the bread, and they just keep on eating off the bread and sucking that wheat into your body, and it gives you what's called a wheat belly. There's a really good book out there. It's actually called Wheat Belly. You should go and look it up. There's you can buy the copies online or in bookstores. It's a very good book to read. It'll really open up your eye on what wheat does to your body. So when you cut the wheat out of your body, you just, without even working out, you'll see your stomach getting smaller, because slowly it will, for your wheat belly to start showing noticeable signs of it dying off, will take definitely up to 3 months. It's after the 3 month mark that those little germs or worms in your stomach will start dying off, and you won't have them. You just have to take wheat out of your system. You can still eat bread, just not made with wheat. You can go out and buy spelt bread and stuff like that. There's many different alternatives that you can get to wheat. Wheat's really bad because you get what's called wheat belly, and why everybody gets fatter. It keeps getting fatter and fatter, and they don't know why they keep getting fatter, because it's every time you have breakfast, and with your bacon and eggs, you have your 2 slices of toast. Well, there it is. Your sandwich, you have a regular wheat bread. There it is. Every time you go to Subway and stuff like that, you know, McDonald's, all those fast foods are complete death. Like you go to eat at McDonald's and stuff like that, you're pretty much signing your own death certificate over time. Uh, you know, if you eat McDonald's a lot, later on in life, when you end up being like 40, 45 years old, you're gonna start seeing things like you might have stomach ulcers, you might get stomach cancer, you might have colon problems, you might have intestine problems, all sorts of things like that because of the food that you're putting into your body. And so yeah, like for me, after the 3 month mark, I really felt everything change. My skin changed tremendously. The color in my face changed. I stopped looking so pale. My energy changed. Even your thought process really does slowly kind of change, because you're taking all this bad stuff out of your body, and you start being cautious about everything. Like even cautious down to the kind of water that you're drinking, and it's better to drink alkalized water where the alkalinity is at a like perfect level for our body, because our bodies need alkalized water and not just regular water. And please don't drink distilled water. It's really bad for you. It does have nothing in it. It has a parts per million of like 0.01 or zero, whatever it may be. But really, what that does to you is it starts to strip all those, like your body needs potassium. Like when you drink water, it needs potassium, calcium, and magnesium and stuff like that in it, and iron and whatever. And so when you're drinking distilled water over a long period of time, I've met, like, before I've sold water purification systems. So like I met people, like customers that I met, who are like older ladies in their like 50s and 60s, and they had been drinking distilled water for pretty much as long as they can remember. And what they had is osteoporosis, and like really brittle bones and stuff like that, because when you drink distilled water, what that does is it strips all the minerals and vitamins, whatever it needs to go into your body. It strips it from your body to neutralize itself out. So you're hurting your body more by drinking distilled water than, like, it's actually better to drink tap water than distilled water, because at least you won't be stripping your body of those stuff, but you're still doing something that's just as bad because you're putting all the other crap into it. Um, there's a lot of people that go on about water. Water is by far the most important thing that we're putting into our bodies, and because our body is made up of water. So I've noticed a huge difference from drinking a lot of coconut water instead of just regular tap water. You can't drink too much of it because it's really really high in potassium. So you have to be careful to control the amount of potassium you're putting into your body the rest of the day. Um, so you can't go out and drink like too much coconut water and go have like a banana and like eat a lot of other foods with potassium in it, because it's not good for your body to overload your body with potassium. So it's not good to overload your body with too much of anything, really. Um, so yeah, just from drinking coconut water, I've noticed a huge difference, because I don't drink tap water anymore, and I don't put all that calcium and fluoride and God knows like millions of other things that are in the water. Like it's really scary what's in the water systems and what the government puts into it, and the amount of chlorine that's put into the water to keep it from growing bad and growing like organisms and stuff like that into it. So, and just switching that one part of your diet, well, you'll notice things changing. The food is so important. Like I can't stress how important that is. The dairy is not made for us. Our bodies and our insides are not made to take dairy. Like that's why there's so many people that are lactose intolerant, and so many people that don't even know they're lactose intolerant. They just go on living life, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just get a little bit gassy when I eat this kind of food." Well, you're getting gassy for a reason, buddy. Your body's not supposed to get gassy after you eat anything. Like you're supposed to be happy and full of energy, not everybody gets what they call like the itis, where you eat so much you're like, oh my god, I could just pass out right now. Like that's not good. That's your body telling you you just put terrible things inside. Like what are you doing to me? Like I need to sleep. Like it's not good. It's You should not want to fall asleep after you eat. If you ever feel like you want to sleep after you eat, well, that's a great way of knowing what you just ate is terrible for your body. After you eat, you should be full of energy. You should be happy. You should be like feeling alive, not feeling down and wanting to go to bed because of all the chemicals and all the crap that you just put into your body. Well, coming up to 30 minutes, and like I haven't even touched on so many of the topics. So, anyways, I'm gonna cut this video for here. Please leave all the comments that you want at the bottom. I know I skipped over a lot of the topics. I'm gonna go over the video myself and just see the topics that I went on, and there's a lot more elaborating or a lot more explaining to do on everything. There's I did touch on a lot of subjects, and I really do feel that I have to go on and back on a lot of them and explain more into them. There's a lot more that I haven't explained yet, so and this will be my first video of many, many to come. I recently was just sitting there with my girlfriend, and she's the reason why I started making these videos. I'm like, so many people are making funny videos on YouTube. So many people are in a way wasting their time on YouTube and wasting their brain in YouTube because you're watching, dumb videos that you really shouldn't be watching. You shouldn't spend your time watching videos like that. I do it myself. I have a really bad addiction to cars, and it's one thing they have to like cut out. So I've caught myself doing that, and it's just better. It's one thing that I would like whoever watches this video to start doing for the next couple of days is every time you go on YouTube, instead of watching the videos you used to watch before, watch something informational, watch something about the environment, about the earth, about what's gonna happen soon and what we need to do to change everything, and you'll see how it'll start changing your brain and your thought process slowly. So thanks everybody for watching the video. Please leave the comments. I'll try and get back to everybody in a timely fashion. Sorry if I don't get back to you. If I don't get back to you, just send me another comment, and or you can send me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Alright everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.